Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dee Reinhardt. I'm with Illinois WorkNet, and today we are doing our technical assistance for Apprenticeship Illinois. We do have a couple of things that we want to show you. I'm going to turn the screen over to Kimberly Heinisch, and she is going to show you about adding items to a calendar so that we have our Apprenticeship Illinois items showing on the calendar. And we're going to add these instructions to the partner page so that they're there for you to reference down the road. And we are going to use, what are we going to use, Kim, we're going to use an event that we saw from
Elgin Community College.
Okay. All right, so go ahead, Kimberly. Thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely. So today I just wanted to go over on the Apprenticeship Illinois site, we have added a event calendar. And so the event calendar is at the bottom of Apprenticeship Illinois. So with that is you can add events and you can browse events. So the event calendar is actually the same calendar that is on Illinois WorkNet's homepage. So for the event to display on Apprenticeship Illinois, you have to do two different things. And so that is going to be in the instructions that we're going to link on the partner page. As you're adding the event, you will tag the series Apprenticeship Week and also tag the audience as Apprentice. So to add an event, you'll just open that up. And I'm going to take the information that I saw on LinkedIn. So I'm just going to copy and paste the description. So it's a webinar, January 25th. Oops, 11. So for the event calendar, it's really easy just to add in the information, copy and paste off your registration page, website, whichever you have, you can. The important thing is, I recommend is adding the contact if you are the contact for adding the event. This is because people will reach out to Illinois WorkNet's help desk and ask about an event specific. And so it's easy for us to reference later down the road when it comes up. So in order for it to display on Apprenticeship Illinois, you have to click Apprenticeship. So, and then the series, you have to do Apprenticeship Week. And then all you have to do is click Add Event. And now it will display on Apprenticeship Illinois' event calendar and as well as Illinois WorkNet's event calendar. So that is how I have for the event calendar. And I just really want to have express like the importance of it, because a lot of people come to Illinois WorkNet, Apprenticeship Illinois, looking for events, and we have the events we do have on here might not include your events. These are usually in newsletters that we're subscribed to, or if I've came across them. So it's really important to add other people's events just so that we're showing a large variety and other people can hear about your programs.
So these are available statewide, correct?
Yes. Yep. And so it can be an online event, it can be a virtual event, orientation, workshop, webinar, any type of event, even like a conference or an expo. Of course, during National Apprenticeship Week, we have a ton of events. And so with the calendars getting smaller as Apprenticeship Week is over, so I've added quite a bit of miscellaneous events that I've seen for programs that are having like monthly, but once you add an event, it'll usually takes us less than 2 days to approve it, and then it will display. So anyone can add an event. And so if you have partner access or even individual access, the event will be added, and then we just go through the approval process to make sure the link is working and the information's correct, or if there's any duplicate information. But again, for it to display on the apprenticeship calendar, you'll definitely want to make sure that you, for the audience, select apprenticeship, and for the series, apprenticeship week. And so the instructions will be linked on the partner page, and it goes over basically step by step for adding it. And then if you have any questions or need assistance, you can send it to info@illinoisworknet.com's email, or submit a contact us, and we can happily help you get it added just so that it displays.
And just so you guys know, you can add your other events, not just Apprenticeship Illinois. You can add other workshops, other trainings, other sessions that you have going on at your school. This not only helps the search options for your potential participants, but it may guide people to the college, because you can put your link to your event on your organization's website as well.
Yeah, and so one thing, some community colleges program that I've noticed, that they didn't have like an event calendar on their department's site. And so in order to add their event to their college's calendar, it's a whole process. So one thing that some people really enjoy is that if once you add an event and you have the information's been approved, you'll have a link that you can use that will take you directly to the event information that is displayed on Apprenticeship Illinois and Illinois WorkNet. So some people find this really helpful, especially if they don't have a website or an easy to use calendar. And you can also use, you can also attach like PDFs or flyers or images, whatever you have that has the information on it.
Marcus or Kimberly, help me out here. Don't we have a calendar widget?
Yes, we have an
that
embeddable
can be
widget
added to an organization's website.
Yes, and so that is easy to use step by step. It's in the footer of Illinois WorkNet. You just click embeddable widgets, and then you would go to the widget that you're looking for. You can do the event calendar, and so you would just follow the steps. It's step by step, and copy and paste the codes in there that our programmers got set up. And you can even use specific filters. So if you are just apprenticeship related, you can even have the filter set so it only displays apprenticeship events.
And you can filter it so that it only shows
your
like
events
College
well.
of DuPage
Yep.
events.
Yep.
Or Debbie, I forgot what org you're with. Rend Lake? Are you?
Calumet Area Industrial.
Okay, so you could set up just events for your particular organization.
Yes. Yes.
Cool. Very nice.
Do any of you have questions about this? And Kimberly, if you wouldn't mind putting your email address or the
Yeah,
one
of course.
you want them to in the chat for this.
Yep, of course.
Just in case they have questions down the road.
Absolutely. I'm always happy to help. And I just know the event calendar is a really good way to help get the word out, just because our follow basis and the users on WorkNet just range from all throughout the state.
All right. And then the next thing that we want to talk about today are success stories. And Kimberly, do you want to tell them what your plan is? And then I'll demo the information.
Yeah, so success stories are really important to be added on Illinois WorkNet, including the apprenticeship program success stories. The reason this is because the type of reporting that we do for the state, it's also used with the U.S. Department of Labor's reporting. They will look for success stories, and they'll use the filters. Apprenticeship Illinois has been a really big one, I will say. I've been doing the reporting, so that's the reason why I know. And in order for your success story to be shared and to be viewed by all. It's great to always include it in your newsletter or your website, but also adding it to Illinois WorkNet. You can copy and paste almost all the information and just fill out the remaining. And that way you can get your success story, the success story also added on here. And so part of my job is social media, and I'm really passionate about helping others and getting the word out. And I feel like success stories, I have noticed a really large engagement on social media. And so whenever somebody can connect to somebody else's stories, it really brings in just a different tie. And maybe they didn't know that they were going, like that they would end up in an apprenticeship, but they also didn't know about it. And so success stories, I feel like, is a great way to get the word out about apprenticeships and the success of that individual as well. So on social media's aspect, I'm going to be highlighting at least one Apprenticeship Illinois success story every week to every 2 weeks. It depends on the amount of success stories that we're getting. We haven't been getting as many as what we were previously. And so whether that be for the program coming to an end or still in the process, it always varies of the reasoning behind it. But I really wanted to get some more success stories just because it is important with reporting and on social media as well. And for social media, I tag the organization or the college, even the employer, whatever is detailed in that success story. I like to be able to also connect to their social media channels as well, just so that you can show like, this is what's going on. And, this is the success that this person's journey has led to.
So you'll get extra advertising.
Yeah,
I know
it's free.
marketing is tough, especially when you're in a not-for-profit or a government organization. We call it outreach instead of marketing. And anytime you can get some free boost out of something that you're doing. And Kimberly's done an excellent job of building our followers on Illinois WorkNet. And we have just recently launched some Apprenticeship Illinois social media as well. So what we plan to do is post it on Apprenticeship Illinois channels and then share it on Illinois WorkNet and or vice versa, just so that we get some play out of all of it. And part of the contractual agreement as well was that the participants, the organizations that are using the Apprenticeship Illinois grant, were supposed to be submitting quarterly or monthly, I can't remember which, success stories to the system. And so I think it was quarterly, but at least quarterly, if not monthly. And we have the 3 types that you can submit. So there is a submit a success story button on the success story page, and we do have that linked on the partner page. Those stories show up not only in the success stories on the main page, but they're also showing at the bottom of the Apprenticeship Illinois page, which we're using to promote the programs. And this is an initiative from the Illinois Workforce Investment Board. So this is not just a fly-by-night kind of a website. It is out there for the world to see, and for Illinois employers and potential apprentices to see about the program. So when you submit a success story, you're virtually marketing your program. And we want those things to come out. Laura, did you have a question?
I do actually. I did some of this earlier in the year for sure. And it's a reminder to me just this week. I was actually thinking, when was the last time I submitted one? I try to capture things that might be good for success stories and just save them for when the time comes right and when I can finish it with more information. I'm looking around right now to see where I can view the ones I've already uploaded, because I had started to draft a couple and I just want to make sure that does that make sense? I'm trying to backtrack on which ones I've already submitted and which ones are just I saved on my end.
Kimberly, I'm not sure that the submittors can see what was in draft format. Can they?
No, I don't believe, or for draft format or like ones have already been submitted, like the ones that have already been submitted, I don't believe so, but you could, what you could do is use the filters as like if you've, I assuming its program type is Apprenticeship Illinois. So you can filter it down and it makes it much more smaller, I will say, and like to filter the results. And
I've
then
closed up all my tabs.
oh no, you could also try filtering
Hang on,
by
I'm gonna
like
go to the partner page.
yeah, and you could also try by filtering by like the geographic search as well. Or if you needed any help, I put my email and info@ email in the chat, and I'd be happy to be able to pull
Awesome.
an export for you to just show you which
Thank you.
ones.
I'll try that. And I just snagged your email off the chat.
Yes,
just
yes.
to save it. So I will reach out to you if I can't find it. Thank you. Because
Yeah.
I've saved a few things like, oh, this could be good for later. And some of them look in my files like they might be done. And I just don't know which ones.
Yeah,
so
no,
then it's time for us to
I
do
understand.
Thank
I
you.
understand.
If you select participant and if you select Apprenticeship Illinois, and if you search by zip code
Mhm,
or county, since
mhm.
you're at COD, if you searched by DuPage County, you could see what you've already submitted.
How did you get to this? I'm trying to backtrack.
This
to
is
where
from
you
the
went.
this is from the main page.
Yep.
This
So
is
I'll
from-
put that in the chat as well. That is from like the Illinois worknet view of
You got
success
it.
stories.
You got
Yep.
it. Okay.
I
So
get myself
right now
so
you've only
turned
got
around and
right now
there's-
you've only
there's-
got one approved story.
oh,
And that's within the last 2 years. After 2 years of success stories, we archive them in a way. But if you're from DuPage, I've been really looking forward to some success stories because I see them on social media, and
Yeah.
we have a large following base from DuPage County. So
I'm glad I asked because I've submitted at least 3, maybe 4 students, and then we've done a couple of employers as well. This one that we're looking at right now is the first one I ever submitted.
it might be under a different, because of how Dee filtered through it, it may be under something, it may be just not being picked up with that.
Oh,
I'll follow up with you.
Well, here,
Yeah.
I'll take out the what type of story and I'll submit the program and by county. So we've got 2. So this is one, you've only got 2, and I did not select a participant type.
Oh,
in this
wow.
search.
Okay. No, yeah, I've got more than that. We're trying to do 1 student and 1 employer per quarter. Have they just not been approved? Kimberly, I'll follow up with you.
Yeah. And so we approve them each week as well. And so one of the things that comes to mind is that it might not fall under that county of how it was entered.
Okay.
But yeah, absolutely. You can follow up with me and we can
Yeah.
get that kind of sorted out because I'm able to, how Dee's searching, I'm able to see on the back end of that way.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. I'll send you
Yeah,
an
of
email so we
course.
can follow up. I'm glad that came up. Thanks for looking.
So would you have submitted it, Laura?
Yeah, that would have been me. The employer success story might have come from either me or Danielle Kuglan-Sego, probably Danielle. And again, it's been a couple of months, but I know I've done through.
I don't see anything in here that you've submitted.
That's crazy.
And so whenever it comes to the one thing that we are having an internal discussion about is the first
Rory. Sorry.
the how we have it. Oh, okay. I highlighted that one. I know I highlighted that one on social media. So the way we have success stories on our end, we've been talking about, just because we don't have necessarily a way to search entirely by who submitted it. And so that's one thing the workNet internal team has been talking about.
Gotcha.
The view D has of like the first and last name, that could be just by going off of the participant type and not the submitter.
Okay. Well, that other name that you just found that was Rory is definitely one of the ones I know I submitted like in March, probably. Yeah, I remember because there was an issue uploading the picture and I had to wait till that got fixed before I could upload and finish submitting, but that was months ago. So thank you. I don't mean to take up everyone's time on this, but
Yeah,
I'll
no.
follow up
This
with
is
you
good.
separately. That's
Yeah,
great.
and feel free to reach out and I can help identify them.
Thank you.
So you get to log in to submit a story, or the participant could log in to submit a story. The important piece, though, is that you have a picture.
Yeah.
And it's
And
easier to find whenever you go to look for your success stories. It's so much easier once there's a picture.
Right.
so now when you log in and you're wanting to submit a type of story, I'm going to do a customer story. And I guess I'm going to have to do a different one here, but you need to submit by username and then the actual customer name. So if you're submitting about a customer, you need to have that information. So let me go back and let me submit a community story. And on here, what it has is the submitter info. You need to make sure that that's your information, because that's who Kimberly is going to come back to if they need to tweak a story in some form or fashion. We try to leave it the way that it was written because it's in that person's voice. But there are just some times where the grammar is just horrendous and we have to fix something just so that it's legible for anybody to read.
Yeah.
So when you're entering this information, make sure that you have your submitter I can't say the word right now, information, and then the actual story information. And as you can see, we need a title, we need a story, we need a photo. And they're suggesting 612 pixels by 612 pixels. Otherwise, it's blurry when it gets resized for whatever purpose. Okay.
Great.
All right.
This has been very enlightening. Thank you. Because I think I put the submitter info as all of my participants info because they sent us the stories. I did kind of what you're saying. I kind of did how's it going to sound to a reader, and kind of tweaked it a tad because, like you said, it wasn't grammar, it was language use more so. Just odd terms. I was like, I don't even know what that means. I work with them. But I know I put it in as them because I remember having to look up their addresses because I wasn't sure. I'm like, well, it's a the participant, but I'm putting it in for him. Okay.
And the other thing, if somebody uses a colloquial term, that's how I'm going to phrase that. You can put in parentheses what that means to somebody that might not be from that area, from that demographic. I'll put it. So that's one of the things that you can do.
And like the one paragraph is one long run-on sentence. I just kind of broke it up a little so it was easier on the reader.
Yeah.
I can't help myself with that stuff. So
All
Debbie
right.
and I have been doing the same thing, right?
Oh, I do that all the time. Okay, so now that we've got that done, thank you, Kimberly, for joining us today. You're welcome to go back to your duties if you would like to. Otherwise, I'm going to talk about one more thing, and then we're going to be done for our meeting this session. I do want to log into, let me get back into Illinois WorkNet in the Customer Support Center. Now, I do happen to be in production on this page. So I don't want to talk about this too much, but the one report that we're going to look at, and I want to show you where it is, it's the customer services report. And we have probably talked about this in the past, but I want to bring it up to you again. It's down here near the bottom of the list, and it's the customer services report. And this is a way for you to update multiple customer services at one time. And if you pick a project, for example, Apprenticeship Illinois, and if you pick your grantee, which it takes it a hot second for it to give me a list. And I'm gonna pick Vermilion just because I know they have a lot of people in their list. And I'm gonna filter. And what this will do is it will give you a list of all of the activities that have been added to a customer. So if you need to add a wrap, or if you need to add skill upgrading and retraining, or if you need to update support services, make sure that at least one customer has that service added to their profile, to their career plan. And then you'll be able to update all of them from this location. Now, I don't want to click on these numbers because it gives me live customers. So I'm going to go to test now and go to the same place. And it's going to take it a second to think, but Apprenticeship Illinois, I only have access to, I have access to all the grantees because of how I'm logged in. So let's see, who do I have? I'm going to try this one and I'm going to filter. And so when I have these columns at the top, these are the status of the step or service that you can have in the actual call. And so if I click on this number, it brings up that person or persons, depending on how many are in that list. And you can update their start date, end date, plan due date, and number of weekly hours. And if you pick any of these services, you just have to have a service, a status, and the required fields in each person in the list. But this allows you to update multiple people all at one time. If I go back, if I just click out of this and go back, I can then go total customers with the step or service or total customers without. So if I have to update 108, it really speeds up the process for me to update all of those people, whether it's successful completion, unsuccessful completion, evaluated, not required, they've started it. You just have to make sure that you have an item in each of those spots. So for example, I've got development of an IEP for this agency. I've got 19 people that weren't started. I can go in here and look at all 19 of those people, and I see that this person didn't finish at all. I can update that with the start date, the plan due date, and they had probably 1 weekly hour. Then I can go down the whole list and update everybody all at one time. And then I'm done with updating those services. I do know that if your grant is not continuing, you may need to update all of your customers if you're not being extended into the new grant period. So Marcella, you've been real quiet, or Laura, do you have either of you have any questions?
I have one from an email you sent me about the SOC code.
Okay.
And I don't know where to find that.
Okay, so I'm in test. Let me go to a person. Let me get into regular. Okay, so before I leave this whole area, did you have any questions about the customer services report?
I think I'm doing, I was able to pull it up on my other computer and update some of the stuff that way, so. that
Okay,
did-
great. Great. All right, so let me get to the dashboard to get to a test customer. There it goes. All right, oops. I want to be in, where did my apprenticeship go? Okay, so I've got an active participant here. I'm gonna go to their profile. Let's pick Jonathan Cruz. Let's go to his career plan. I'm going to go to his add steps. I'm going to add a step or service because it looks like he doesn't have that added. So I'm going to look for wrap. I'm going to add this. And we're going to do OJT public. And we're going to do skill upgrading and retraining. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to edit this. Select a goal. Started. What is today? The 19th. So we'll say started on the 20th. SOC code is super simple because if you click in the box, it brings up a search function. And you can click, I'm just putting welding in here.
Okay.
So then it'll search for the SOC code for you. And you can click select and it will put the SOC code in for you.
Okay.
The Rapids ID is from your paperwork.
Yep.
So I'm just going to put the number 1 in here for right now because I don't know what a Rapids ID would be for this. It's then you have to pick the type of program. Is it time-based, competency, or hybrid? What's their wage? I'm going to say $17.50. When's the plan due date? And that could be, who knows? It could be 2025. How many hours a week are they doing this? They're going to be doing it 40 hours a week. Does it cover any of these situations that they expressed on their application? And if you're done with that, you can click update customer service. And this is one other thing that I'd like to comment upon. Case notes are not always really good that we've been looking at for the participants in this program. If you have a consistent message that you use for a particular function of your program, put it on Notepad. I don't know, but I use Notepad for everything. And I have little comments here that I can just copy and paste. And so then it gives me a fuller case note so that if I'm coming in to look at a customer or if a monitor is coming in to look at a customer, we've got a pretty full explanation of what happened with that item. We add the case note. In some cases, you need to make sure that the service provider is tagged in here. If there is a dollar value of service, you can add that in there. Attendance can be tracked now so that if I want to say, this is more for workshop rather than work, but it could be done for both, especially if it's a work experience. And then did they earn any credentials? And you can add a credential here. So I know, Marcella, this was a whole lot more than just giving you the SOC code, but just in case somebody is watching the recording of this webinar, then they know a little bit more detail.
Yeah, it was good. No, it's good to go through those other tabs.
All right. And so then if I look at this customer's case notes, I can see some stuff in here that, like, this one is probably the best, and that was automatically generated by the computer. All right. Do either of you now, we're down to 2 people, do either of you have questions that I can answer for you?
I have a quick question, Dee. A few minutes ago, before Marcella asked about the SOC codes, you said something that if you're not continuing into the next grant cycle, can you repeat what you said? Something about you may need to update, but I'm not
You
sure
may
what
need to
comes
close
after
out,
that.
you may need
Close
to
now.
close out the services that are in the system and close down the person or get them re-enrolled in WIOA or transferred to WIOA.
Okay, how do I know?
Did you apply for the next iteration of the
I don't
grant?
believe we're moving forward, no.
So then you'll probably have to get everybody closed out and or moved.
Okay. How do I know whether to close out or move? I'm not sure how to distinguish. Who should I talk to?
If their wrap is not done, you'll probably want to talk to DuPage to see if,
WorkNet 2 page?
yeah, workNet DuPage.
Okay.
And Marcella, I can't remember where you're from.
District 214.
So did you submit for the next grant?
No.
Okay,
So we're done as of March
as of
30th.
the end of your extension, did you
Yeah,
guys get
March.
extended?
Yes.
All right,
Thank you. I'll follow up on my end. Thank you very much.
sure. Anything else? All right. Have a marvelous rest of your day, and we'll talk again in February.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Dee.
Bye.
Bye.